I must get to drink really, really fast. I just ate a white chocolate lavender truffle. Flour fused. And I need to wash and rinse out my mouth. That's an indicator. Good boy, Stanley. Want to say hi? Are you in a mood? Come over here. Okay. Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a elk empath. I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. It's a very full, broad spectrum day. It's a very full, broad spectrum weekend. It's a very full, broad spectrum life. And if it's not, if that pendulum ain't swinging, why bother then? I scheduled this for earlier, and then I remembered that there was an online funeral that I was attending. That's the second woman I know, 45 years old, that I knew when they were like in their 20s, early, like when they were 20, when they were very, very young. One of them was from the military. She died from heart disease. And the other was from mutual friends. And she ended her own life evidently. So, or made decisions that ultimately caused her untimely death. So, see, because sometimes I think people don't mean to do things, but who knows? We'll never know. She's a good egg. And her name was Jessica, like my little sister. And so there's another chick on planet Earth who just entered the same shitty club that I did. Only thing is she had like a whole entire full life with her sister. My sister had this whole entire full life, and that life didn't even know that she had a sister. Guess I should have worked harder to make an impression. Good news is, since I never existed, I don't ever really have to sit in sadness for too long, because people that don't exist don't mourn. Huh? Anyway. It was sad. It was standing room only. This chick, they showed like all the photographs, like from, because I mean, I knew her from like 20 years ago, and she's had an entirely different life for the last 15, so she's showing all these pictures of this, like, I'm like, I didn't know any of, like, that's not the same person that I know. We had some commonality. It's interesting. Her name was Jessica, and she's a Virgo too. My sister's name Jessica is a Virgo. That self-will run riot, man. She ran a lot. I remember I used to go visit her when she worked at Peaks Performance. It was right next to where I went in the tanning booth, and when I lived in Nebraska, I'd get SAG, seasonal depression. So I tried to get sunlight to make me feel better. And she worked, so I'd go visit her and stuff, and I think about people that I know from those mutual friends. If we, I mean, and I think about it, like it's weird that to think that when I knew these people, these women, when they were so young, that was their middle life. That was the middle of their life, and they all had so much. They all had everything. The big Jeep, the great job, this wonderful spouse, the big huge house, hole in ones, like all of it. And still there's that thing inside somebody's. That's the thing. That's my rule of thumb. If you're ever thinking anything, because we're just frequency. And whatever we do, we tune in to the frequencies about us. So sometimes we get ideas about stuff. You're in proximity to somebody like-minded. They're just, they're in an altered state. They get a weird thought. It becomes yours. You start don't do that. You got to degauge. You got to keep your body, your soul sac pure. That's why I can't drink and talk. I can't drink alcohol, because that is me freely inviting spirits to come into my vessel, and then I give them control, because I lose control. So if I lose control when I do something, ultimately it's giving power over to that thing. And that thing, alcohol, it puts me in frequencies that I'm living a timeline, I'm living a storyline that not everybody around me is living. You gotta be careful about people too much, because I found this is just for me being on the other side, and that is because they're stuck in a time frame. Like whenever somebody does things to go to oblivion, the oblivion that they're trying to achieve is a place and a time that they've been before. The funny thing is, it might be a place that their soul remembers, and it hasn't even happened in this incarnation. But every time they dip into that place of oblivion, the no place space, where people go with heavy intoxicants, you're in all time and space. That's why so many people are freaking out right now, is because it's like they're having recall. Their DNA is recalling to 150 years ago, the last time this energy, 200 years ago. Like, pick your cycle. All these cycles are lining up like clocks on a clock shop wall. So people are feeling energies, and it's just like, oh my God, like they're feeling freaking rapture, like all the goodness and everything. They want to keep it going, so they're doing things to perpetuate that. So, I mean, it's a stay home weekend for Marge. I'm that kind of I listen because I know myself, and I don't want to deal with my astrology plus beating the astrology of what other people carry in their soul sacs as their energy potentials based on their choices. Like, I read this thing where a dude at the Bent Street cafe freaking got pissed off at the girl. He wanted a burrito. It came with potatoes. He chewed her out for fucking wanted the potatoes taken off his bill, and called her a bit and all this stuff. And she's just like, okay, well, whatever. At least he didn't throw anything. It could have been worse. Like, people are unhinged. They have emotional control, but they're so important. They don't care to use it on anything insignificant, like discipline. And I'm talking to myself too, because I got a mouth on me. I don't want to be like other people like that, though. So I don't want to add to the potential, because I know how I am. I don't want to do my mouth plus society and freaking have something go wonky. So there ain't no better place for me to be except for at home with little Madre, huh, Ma?
Yeah.
Yesterday was a weird, hard, terrible day. I went to the grocery store to get some provisions and go to the water house and lost my gas key. So I didn't get gas. Then I came home and I was like, what's this water doing around the toilet? Like that wasn't like that when my Highlight magazine, it's usually like this and now it's like this. Something's different. So I was like, well, fuck. And this is a iffy plumbing place anyway. The plumbing's iffy at this place anyway. I mean, what happened yesterday was bound to happen. It just fucking sucks. And essentially I flushed it and it came back up overflowing and shit water went fucking everywhere. And I ran into the next room. I grabbed this big blanket that I used to cover this window, like to keep the cold draft air out. And freaking came in and threw that in the doorway, and just to try to keep it to sequester because it was coming in the bedroom. Like it was. I was like, shit water. Fucking Jesus. It took me an hour to clean it up because I cleaned up every little remnant. Like it was so bad. And so then I had to call the landlord, and this was like at noon. This was right when I got home, right? So I hadn't even got it was like 11. I hadn't even got mom breakfast yet. So I said, Mom, sorry, but this is dirty freaking, this is like bio nasty shit. This is like takes precedent. So you're gonna have to wait on eggs, Ma. So got it all cleaned up, then called landlady, and it's Friday. I didn't because I don't live by the calendar as everybody else, and so she's at her daytime job, so she turned it over to husband, and so evidently the guys had to drive down to Espanola to get the augered, and they were just here 2 days ago. Like it's just everything is so silly. I'm just like, that's okay, you know. People take their lives and it freaking makes life less serious in a lot of capacity. So anyway, there's that. So they show up, and finally at like 5:15 they came in, and they're here about 40 minutes or so. Took care of stuff. And you know what I thought of today? It came. I was like, man, I was so inconvenienced and had to do so many things for so long to make other people happy. And then like the last 10 years, me and Mom have been in this other dimension where I don't have to do that. Like I'm out of practice. So anyway, I called today's talk before I get too far off the beaten path. Rest in peace, Jesse. I know you're running in the sky, you know. God, I know that she's just like going, damn it, it was freaking, wasn't supposed to happen like that. Like it was an accident. Like, just sucks. Just sucks. So I don't know what happened to her, but I've known people that have hung themselves, lit themselves on fire with accelerant, douse themselves with accelerant, and then lit themselves on fire to make sure that it wouldn't go out. There's somebody that jumped off the Shasta Dam Bridge New Year's Eve 2000. Grandy Gross excursions, man. I just want people to stay. We can make a place that's better. We can. The old ideologies are dying. That is for sure. So, astrology-based curriculum. I've talked about this before. I think I believe it bears repeating, and that's how I think that's how it is. They're like things. What is the first question? Anything you do in life in the United States? What's the first question you ask after your name? After your name, your first question is always your date of birth. You go into the master, and then I tested this today, right? By putting people in positions of power based on what they won't do if they're not balanced. Everybody has the freedom to be a balanced individual between their masculine energy, between their self-serving and service for others. Like, it's a pendulum. Like, nobody is a good person all the time. You know, like, sometimes they got a shit mouth, you know, like, it's a pendulum. So I looked up this theory that I had earlier about politicians, famous Pisces politicians. Wait, where did that page go? Here it is. Because Mom had my first chart done when I was born. And so and then there was a time that I lived with my brother, and I remember standing in a room, and I was talking to him about astrology, and he's just like, ultimately you have control of your own life. And then I was just, yeah, okay, big brother, you're right. And I kind of just like put it off. And I think he's always, but he has the kind of brain that you can name a date in history, and it doesn't matter what the date is. It doesn't matter if it's already happened or if it's going to happen. He in an instant can tell you what day of the week it is. So he was one of those gate people. He's part of the program. Like, he's a Freemason. Like, I mean, he fits all the criteria. All of it. He's just yeah. So anyway, he's a Virgo, right? He's a lawyer for the state of California. Like, if I got my hands on a quantum computer, I bet I could pinpoint like who's gonna like, people know, like, because of potentials. And you could see how people are going to act, because usually people are going to choose to act how they've always acted, because they don't vary their behaviors very much. That's why they have holidays, to make sure people are still going to get stuck in their loops. So, and I'm an Aries woman. I got so much masculine energy that I make men reevaluate their life choices. That's why they get so mad at me, because I did the work and they can't see their feet unless they standing in front of a mirror. Gosh darn it, I'm supposed to listen to this because they're a man and they got a penis and they're the stronger, smarter. This is all this shit that I fucking grew up. This is all the stuff that I was like, that people told me, and then my face would go like this. Like, you're full of shit. And then I was the person that wouldn't go along to get along. So I've been going, you're full of shit my whole fucking life. 13 years old, and I got suspended because I was just telling the truth. Mr. Smith, you're a dirty old man. And I got suspended. So, I have a long history of telling the truth. More so than lying. So I accept the fact that I have, Aries women essentially energetically are men. And on the other side of that coin, this pisses so many people off. Pisces men are women. And when they feel imbalanced, just like I do when I feel imbalanced, when I start feeling like women are weak and all that freaking toxic masculinity that I have, like, that I've been trying to get out of my head for years, because of that was my early programming from the men in my life, But what I did is I became so self-sufficient the minute in my life, like, ooh, yeah, you could drive a concrete mixing truck, Dad, but could you ever fix one? No. Like there are things that they could do, but they weren't real man things. It was man overcompensating greatly. You want to go up, Tuck? Good boy, Buds. You want to go upstairs? Go here? Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Go ahead. So, like me, you know, like they put, yeah, I got hired for fucking shit jobs like my whole entire life. Every single one of those shit jobs, I busted ass. Like, I made other people in their positions way higher up look better because I worked so hard. So I wouldn't get paid as much because I got satisfaction in the job, you know? And plus I'm nacho neurotypical. I don't have any earth in my chart. So, like, how many people, like, the quantum machine, oh, yeah, hire them, they don't got no earth in their chart. They'll be happy with nothing because they don't care about money. Stuff like that. And so, I just randomly look at Pisces men in history. So, in history, these are Pisces men. Mikhail Gorbachev. Let's see, he's a Pisces man. Yeah, Pisces men have more feminine energy. It's a feminine sign. It's a dual sign. It's a lot of energy, right? So if they're not grounded and they don't got ground, you know, they're going to be very withholding. That's great for a freaking leader of a country, isn't it? To hog all the resources so it never trickles down. Oh, you need up, bud? Oh, he's good. That's one. So he's March 2nd. There's plenty of Pisces dudes out there that are balanced. I'm just talking about the Pisces men that are not in balance. Just like I'm a pretty balanced female, Aries female. I'm pretty balanced in my masculine female energy. There have been times that I've compensated. You know, I wanted to be the slutty Jezebel. Thank goodness I didn't succeed. There is always blocks, but still, like, I mean, I know because I've been there. I've lived this stuff. So let's see who else. Harold Wilson, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, twice, 2 different times. George Washington was a Pisces man. You could tell, dude. Dude was a fucking bottom lip. All the lipless are, man. Andrew Jackson, like, put them in positions of power so they'll withhold, and then, you know, they'll advance. And then you have the people like, okay, they're highly egocentric. Give them a position of power, and then watch what they do with it. And then the ones that like do drugs and coke and all that stuff, they just go free will. There's a lot of cycles ending right now. Like one of them's that Roseanne show. And I started watching Roseanne. I remember when we watched it was not even Roseanne yet. Like, they did a sound stage production, and then they had the couch on it. And I remember watching the cast, like, they were carrying the couch off. And, like, so that was late 86. I don't know. That was, like, before the show even started. And then I watched the show, and I loved it. And then I was drawn to things that reminded me in the show, right? And then Mom and I recently went, and I wouldn't watch the Connors because I thought they did her dirty. And then it's just like, Marge, if anybody, she don't fucking care about what I think, you know, like, whatever. So I thought it was morbid that they killed her all. I thought it was weird. And then it's just like, well, that's Hollywood, you know, and that's what people will do. It's like figuratively, you know, I don't know. People do weird stuff, and then you throw in intoxicants, and then their reasons aren't necessarily their own. So I went back and watched as an adult, you know, with more right and wrong in my heart. Like, that ain't cool. And like there's a lot of stuff that they did that was really fucking messed up, you know. But it's on a TV, and since it has a laugh track, it made it okay. you know, for a lot of people to act of a certain way because they saw it on TV. And that's how easy it is to program people in America. Like, and you could like, and you see what happened. I see the evolution of John Goodman, and we're on the last season right now, John. You know, and he's like in his prime. You know, he's really heavy set. I can imagine how much like he was a big guy. He's a big man. Like, don't you know who I am kind of guy. So I'm sure like he traveled around and had his way doing a lot of things. I mean, like, you know, all the movie roles and stuff. But you see, like, he was such a big man, and then you see him now, like who he was, like false teeth. He's not that old. I think he's 70. How old is John Goodman? Mom has all of her own teeth even. But they don't age gracefully because they don't live gracefully. Like, think about all these people. They never paid. They're huge lives. They have these huge lives, and they do nothing. They think that they have their lives all because of who they are. That's what's weird. Like, nobody ever did them a favor along the way. That's what baffles me. John Goodman. And then they just had the last one of the Connors. And like, they look at these people that have a good fucking life and have so more money than they can ever comprehend what to do with. Like, their families are all set up and everything, because they just take care of their own, never do nothing for nobody else, just because they hijacked a storyline of somebody that they threw away. Like, these people don't think that karma's like what goes around comes around. Really? He's 72 years old. June 20th. Doesn't have any of his teeth in his... You know, like, people don't take care of themselves, and it's evident. It shows up. It shows up. If you get to live long enough. But yesterday is like... how stressful it was. The whole key thing wasn't that big of a deal because I have a spare. But with all of that, like, just reminds me that I mean, like, I was really surprised that I didn't lose my shit, really. Oh, he's a Gemini. He's a Gemini man. That's what it is. Okay, that explains it. I thought he was a Cancer. Gemini, you can tell Gemini because they're so distinct from one side of the face to the other. They look like two different people. What's the matter? You want to go there? I like Gemini, though. Gemini are cool. Some Gemini. Somebody posted this. I used to draw things like this because when I was little, we lived in such shitty places with like cockroaches and stuff like that, and they were always really cold and damp and wet in the winter and the hot, and in the summer it was so hot it was gross and just like very uncomfortable. From a very early age, I had to learn to try and find how to be comfortable with meager means under shitty circumstances. And I think that has favored me in life because I see people where they've had everything their whole entire life and it's just never going to be enough. And I think I see the ideology and the thought processes of, well, this is as good as it's going to get. You know, I don't even want to do this anymore. But that's why if you have the thoughts and voices and ideas that are telling you to cause harm to yourself or anyone else, that's not God telling you to do that. That's not good orderly direction. You know, God's like, hey, dude, go buy that fucking homeless dude a pizza or that. Homeless people can't eat heavy fucking food and shit, stuff like that. They don't got, and because the public places don't make it easy for them to use the bathroom. So, but people buy them freaking burgers and French fries and all this stuff, and then it's like, oh fuck, now I gotta go shit in a hole. Because that's America. That's planet Earth these days. Not caring about other people, just caring about money and those third quarter profits. So I was thinking about how lately, like, the skies and stuff look so cartoony. And I live in a place where a lot of people come. It's a tourist place. So, and it reminds me of other tourist places where it's so busy. It's so, and there's a whole bunch of artists that are always painting the mountain with the clouds and red. Like, it's the same sky, just a different perception, painting the same thing over and over. And I'm just like, are they creating the skies because they keep painting them? Is that the cycle that happens? Could they maybe paint them with the chemtrails in them to make that popular so that people will start believing that other people see them, because they keep painting these sky pictures, but the chemtrails aren't crisscross applesauce doing all the stupid shit that they do. So people are like, oh, they're not real. Because they're not in art. And art imitates life. Anyway, I think about the world if they put people in positions based on their astrology. Like if I was a little girl and I was like 5 years, because I had abilities. I taught myself how to ride a bike when I was 3 years old. This was after after Uncle John put the bike together, and he put training wheels on it, and I didn't want baby training wheels. That's me overcompensating my masculine energy. I could do it, so I went in the garage. I got the wrench, and I took off the training wheels myself. They gave me a couple quick words about balance, and I went off on my way and figured it out on my own when I was 3 years old. Like, and I've always had a mechanical aptitude. It's about solving problems, fixing things, making things better. It's just what I do. Anyway. So you have other people that want to do that because, they want to be in control. They want to be the boss, but they don't have the aptitude to make all the moving parts work. But because of who they are and who they're related to, they get to do what they want, and they fuck everything up because they don't know what they're doing. And that's why America's flushing down the toilet and the shit water is fucking flooding up out all over the place. Because America is getting paid back for all this shit that America's been doing for decades, because it figured out that the American people aren't going to stand up. Because look what we do. We do all this stuff. They're not going to stand up. We can do whatever we want. And it just gets dumber and dumber. And now it's like to the point, maybe they fired the guy, I don't know, but when a dude is so fucking egomaniacal that he is sitting up in a podium as a representative of the United States Department of Defense with a fucking glass of scotch, dude needs to be racked in the fucking nuts. Yeah. Hey, dude, come to Taos, dude. Come to Taos. And maybe I'll explain to you about recovery, and that maybe that one day if you act different, because a lot of people don't know, you can act different. However you're acting, you feel like an asshole, stop fucking acting that way and act different. Dude, looking at the way his kids looked at him, I know how that feels, dude. I know how that feels. It's so sad. Nothing to have a fucking parade for. Nothing to wear a little button over. Nothing to be proud of. It's just men fucking menning, you know, making bullshit. It's okay, Todd. Things are changing. Huh, Ma? Okay, now we just settled down. No more of that BS. Ultimately. I don't know how it's gonna turn out. Like, people are like, oh, rise of the divide. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Can they change a tire? I want people with practical skills in positions of, you know, I want the foster kids to be in freaking Congress seats. You want to learn how to take care of people? Fucking put people that don't know, that have been taking care of other people because they ain't never been taken care of in their whole life. Put them in positions, you know. But if I was given the opportunity as a young girl at like 4 or 5 years old to start to like work on farm equipment and stuff like that, I could have done it. You know, all these people have all this aptitude. They just don't know the right people, and that is how American change. Give everybody, like, give the worker bees whatever means that they want to make life easier for them, to do the shitty fucking jobs. That's never been a thing in America. You know, it's all, oh, give everybody at the top that doesn't have a lick of fucking sense in their head, give them all the money and all the privilege. So now the hourglass is flipping because people had a chance to learn. You know, people are like, oh, free will, free will. How come, where are all the people in fucking America that use their free will to be generous? How come that ain't a thing? You know, they use the fucking free will to travel here, travel there, go to this concert, do this, put that in their butt, drink this, so eat this, shit that. And what do they ever do for nobody else? Now the cracks of society are getting wider, and a lot of people are stressed out. They hate their lives. They're miserable. They're taking it out on everybody else. And all I can do is every day is wake up and go, you know what, Mom? I'm so grateful because we have everything that we need. And our wants never got bigger than our needs. And look at all the people that never figured that out. And now they're having such a hard time. You know? Huh, Ma? Growing up's hard. Life lessons, hard to learn. It's about all I got for now. Thanks for hanging out.